Morning. I'm watching because I'm trying to see if the internet's going to go out again. I didn't have internet until very recently, which is why if you were looking for the show earlier and you didn't see it, that's why, because there was no internet and I didn't think there was going to be a show today. And now I'm trying to see if it's going to stay. Let's see. Let's find out, shall we? Anyway, today is the 23rd day of February. This is the 38th episode of season 3 of the Be Your Own Hero show. Hero is an acronym. It means helping everyone reach optimism. In other words, helping others helps you with a reciprocal action. And I'm your host. I'm Sekou. I am a professional creative and the creator of what we're now calling the Hero Ministry Movement. All right, that is my effort to uplift and inspire the unhoused community. I'm still keeping an eye on this internet. Okay. That said, shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing me this space and opportunity to talk about my journey of becoming my own hero. And these days, past couple seasons, my journey of becoming my own financial hero. I hope something that I've said has resonated with you and helped you become your own financial hero as well. If this show provides any value to you, please like, please comment, please share, please spread the word, please make a donation, do all the good things to help the show grow. And remember that I am not a personal trainer nor my financial advisor, so do your own due diligence. All right, all that said, the internet seems to be holding steady. There's a few things that are a little weird on my end, but we're just gonna rock with it, see what happens. Okay, so because I thought there was gonna be no show, I kind of got into the idea that there was gonna be no show. I was like, oh, I just take a morning off. I just relax. But as you know, if you've been watching the show, I've been reading the 4 agreements. And the first of the 4 agreements is be impeccable with your word, which is to say, be impeccable with your word to yourself, which is to say, keep your promises to yourself, and also say kind things to yourself. So the first part of that is what came into play today, because the promise I've made to myself is that if I can do the show, I will do the show. I won't take any days off. Very similar to my run streak. I've never said that out loud on the show, but that's been my commitment. If I can do the show, I'm going to do the show, regardless of what the circumstances are. So I'm exercising the same muscle that I'm building by doing my run streak here with this show. So you may have noticed, for example, that sometimes Rev is out of pocket, and then I guest host for her show, and then typically I'm still here. That's because I've made this commitment to myself to show up for this show regardless. And so that was tested today because I was like, oh, there's no internet. I'm going to take a nap. that's what I decided. And just when I was about to take a nap after my run, I checked and I was like, okay, all right, we got internet. We got to do the show. So anyway, just a peek into my process. And again, the whole point is to build the muscle of so what? So what? So what? So what? The internet just came on 5 minutes ago. So what? I don't have notes for my show. So what? It's foggy today. So what? Now that relates to the run story, but I haven't gotten that far yet. So that's a preview of what's about to come. Okay, so like I said, I don't really have notes. So let me figure out how we're going to move. I guess, well, let's say what's up to the people who are in the chat. I see a couple of comments. So shout out to Gladys. Shout out to Tim, reminding me about the water. Appreciate that. Oh, the volume? I appreciate that. I'm going to take the headphones off. Hopefully that's better. I've been having some headphone issues, so hopefully you can hear me better. This polo is also a yesterday purchase. Was it yesterday? Or the day before yesterday? I think it was yesterday. I got this locally at a cool little thrift shop that has pink flamingos all in the front of the in the front of the lawn. So pink flamingos everywhere. Anyway, hope you can hear me now. And shout out to Linda, who's checking in early on Mountain Time. It's 7 a.m. where you are, and it's almost 10 a.m. where I am. So grateful to have folks at all the time zones. All the time zones? Maybe we got folks in all the time zones checking out the show. Anyway, so I made it. And hopefully you can, okay, Tim is saying the sound is better. All right, cool. Thanks for the heads up. I got to get some new headphones. That'll be the next thing.
I'm already doing some triage on this laptop that you're watching me on. I got to be very gentle with the laptop because laptop is like, all right, man, do something. Let's do something. So I got my list of tech things to do is growing. Anyway, moving on, getting back to the show. Okay, oh, thanks Gladys for letting me know. Okay, so today was day 268 for my run streak. As you know, if you've been watching the show, I've been running every day, at least a mile a day for now 268 days in a row. And every day is different. And some days I get lessons, and some days I don't really get lessons. And some days I get profound lessons, and some days I get minor lessons. Day 247 was a profound lesson for me. So I won't recap that, but check my social media for yesterday's run report. And I talked about it a little bit here too. But today was relatively profound too. So I got up really late for me. That's not true. Okay, let's go back to yesterday. Yesterday was 2/22/22, and Reverend Mel talked on her show about the fact that there's a lot of energy in those numbers, a lot of energy in that day. And for me, yesterday was off all day. Everything was off. And so I was texting with her about it, and she suggested that I meditate or take a nap. Well, that ended up being the same thing. I, I sat to meditate, and then I was just out. I was just out. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, "There's nothing to do. There's nothing to do." So I ended up doing a number of things early in the morning, and because of all those things, I didn't get up at my usual time later to run because by the time, I basically fell back asleep. It was hard to get up, all those things. Anyway, I'm off topic. The point is, when I finally got outside to run, there was a blanket of fog everywhere, like movie type fog, like like just looking at a wall of cotton everywhere you looked. Oh, check out my run report for today because I got some video footage of it. It's pretty cool. So anyway, I went running in the fog, and and at the time it was just cool. I was like, oh, I'm running in the fog. I can't see anything. It's kind of cool. All right, so the profundity came later. Actually, it came just now, like just before the show, because when I did my run report, I could feel it percolating, but it wasn't quite there yet. But here it is. When you start moving towards a goal, you don't have to see where you're going to get moving. Does that make sense? So in real time, my goal was to run, at least a mile as it's been every day for the past 268 days. I'm sure you can hear the ambient noise. So sorry about the traffic. So that was today's goal, just like it's been every other day. But because I've been running a different route every day, sometimes the route is unfamiliar. And this morning it was unfamiliar to me. And because the fog was so dense, I couldn't exactly see where I was going. We're talking about seriously dense fog. So if I was in a block, I couldn't see the end of the block. I only had visibility of like 50 to 60 yards. So I can see where I'm going only for a brief period, a brief space, and then I got to move forward to see even more. And I kind of had to inchworm my way through a new route and say, "Oh, okay, we've reached the end of this block. Let me make a turn here and keep moving forward." So anyway, the point for me, what resonates for me is that as long as you've got a goal and you start moving, that's enough. That's enough. Set a goal and then start moving. And this takes us all the way back to my most recent catchphrase, which is now is better than perfect. Just start moving. Just start moving. The way will get clear as you move. The intersections will get clear as you move. The forks in the road will get clear as you get closer to them. All that stuff happens in process. But if you sit in a driveway like I was this morning, trying to figure it out, it just won't work. It just won't work. You got to get out there and start moving, and then the way will be made clear. So that's my profundity from day 268. And yes, in response to a few of you making this suggestion, I need to write them down. I mean, obviously they're captured here, and I need to also capture them in writing somewhere because they're life lessons for me, and I hope for you too. So, foggy day 268. That's my wisdom. Okay, shifting gears, charity run number 3, raising money for Mr. Charles. I texted with his neighbor yesterday. Mr. Charles is home. Yay, Mr. Charles is home. He's out of the hospital, and he's been looking for my phone number. So hopefully I'll be hearing from Mr. Charles directly soon. I would really like to get this charity run funded before I hear from him. So I'm going to, depending upon the internet, I'm going to push very heavy on social media today. Push the charity run very heavily on social media today so we can get some more donations so that hopefully by the time he calls me, I can say, guess what? So anyway, help me out with that. If you would, please like, please comment, please share, please spread the word about the charity run. And if you can, please donate. Okay, moving on. So very briefly, the 30-day streak challenge for myself, what I've started doing. I mentioned this before, but I'm going to mention it again because it circled back to me. Basically, what I've done over the past couple of days is added something. I've stacked something. Studies have shown that it's easier to create a new habit by attaching it to a habit you've already established. So the habit of running every day became a habit for me on day 68. Now, to be clear, that does not mean I feel like doing it. That does not mean I feel like doing it. Today, like many days, I didn't feel like doing it. Today, all I wanted to do was take that nap. That's all I wanted to do. But on some subconscious level, it's in my bones now that even when I don't want to do it, there's something in me that's like, no, this is just what we do now. This is just what we do. So speaking of profundities in terms of the run streak, day 68 was the day that I discovered that it was in my bones. It was in my subconscious, right? So because I've got that habit relatively established, I'm now stacking other habits on top of it. And my temptation has been to stack big habits on top of it. And that has not gone well. That's not gone well. So what I'm doing is downsizing the habits that I'm stacking on top of it. So very small, very manageable goals, because the run streak has now gotten big, right? And so my temptation has been to add something big on top of the big thing. No, I need to add like a flea, like a little fly on top of this mountain of the run streak, and let that fly, that little flea, get bigger as I go. So that's it. I'm not going to be specific about what I'm doing just yet, but I am stacking a few very small pebbles. That's better. A very few pebbles onto the run streak that I've established as a habit. So I invite you all to do the same. Those of you who are participating in the 30-day streak challenge, and those of you who aren't, establish a habit of any kind by repeating it every single day for 30 days in a row, and then start stacking. Yeah, okay. Well, establish the habit first, because again, it took me 68 days. It wasn't just 30 days. But my goal was to make it 30 days. And then at day 68, I discovered it was a habit. So goal number 1, make it 30 days. And then see how you feel. Hopefully you'll keep it going and you will discover that it has become a habit that will be difficult to break, whatever it is. Okay, that's the 30-day streak. Oh, and so the envelope challenge. Like I said, I found this computer program that does a random number. So let's hit the number and see what we get for the dice roll today. And the number is 3. It's much less dramatic than the dice, right? I gotta find my dice. Just hitting the button for the number is not as much fun. Anyway, the number for today is 3. Again, what we're doing is we're transferring money from our checkings account to our savings account every day, just like the 30-day streak. It's a streak. It's an investment streak. Transfer small amounts of money between $1 to $6 every day so that you'll be able to stack an amount of money that you can then invest. We're doing this because the biggest reason that people don't invest is they say, that they don't have enough money to invest. So we're circumventing that by creating this ancillary fund that we can use to invest. So once again, today's number is 3. Take $3, move it from your checkings over into your savings, and let that money accumulate to invest later on. Okay, moving on. I guess I do have some notes, huh? So moving on. In the middle of the night, I was trying to get back on track in terms of my schedule. So reading, journaling, meditation, running is the schedule that I'm trying to stick to. Although I've been experimenting with doing everything and then running last. So I'm still trying to find the right flow. Anyway, I didn't feel like reading any of the things that I've been reading this morning for whatever reason. I didn't feel like reading the 4 Agreements or 30-Day Mental Diet or any of that. So I picked up a book on Kindle that I have not read before, and it was pretty interesting. So the book is called, let me get the title exactly right. Tell Yourself a Better Lie. Tell Yourself a Better Lie. Subtitle: Use the power of rapid transformation therapy to edit your story and rewrite your life. Tell Yourself a Better Lie. So it's a cool title, cool, catchy title. And I don't even remember where I heard about it, probably from a podcast. But I like the idea, even just from the title, Tell Yourself a Better Lie. So the implication is that we all go through our lives telling ourselves lies, telling ourselves stories that we believe. This is true. This is factual. Many of us never realize that we're telling ourselves lies, but some of us do. If you go down the rabbit hole far enough, you'll discover that you're creating stories for yourself that may not necessarily be true, that are usually not true. And I use myself as an example. Like I mentioned this the other day, I never thought that I would be able to run a mile every day for 30 days. I didn't think I would make it at all, to be completely honest. So my self-limitation was such that I was like, yeah, I don't think I can do this, but I'm just going to try it because it seems like a cool thing to do for my birthday month. That was about it. And I was shocked that not only could I do that, but that without trying, I ended up at 62 miles for the month. I was like, how did that happen? How did I run even more than a mile a day? So it expanded my belief box. My belief box was limited to less than 30 miles for the month. And then I ran 62. And so it expanded my belief box. And every day since then, I've been expanding my belief box about what I'm capable of. So the point is, we create these limitations for ourselves out of thin air, really. We create limitations for ourselves. We make up stories about what we can and can't do. Oh, another really good one is I'm an early riser. Oh, I'm not a morning person. I'm not a morning person. You're not a morning person, but have you ever missed a 6 a.m. flight? No, you haven't. Why? Because you had a reason to get up. It's not about being a morning person or not. We make up these stories, we believe them, and then they become fact, self-fulfilling prophecies. I am so on a tangent right now. Let me get back to the morning Zen. So the point is, I was reading this book in the middle of the morning, and I'm going to read this quote. As someone who has spent a lot of time in therapy, this really stood out to me. Also, this book was written by a therapist. Yeah, let me just explain. So she is a therapist, and she developed a reputation for quote unquote fixing/healing people in a few sessions, as opposed to many sessions over time. And if you've been in therapy before, you know that typically it's many sessions over time that you're dealing with an issue, you're peeling back the onion, trying to work through something. Well, she became known for fixing things, quote unquote, fixing things quickly. So she basically created a name for that, rapid transformation therapy. And that's the method that she uses. Anyway, here's this very brief quote. In a therapy office, a client may expertly deflect, dodge, and obscure the truth in order to prevent the therapist from getting to the painful core that they've been avoiding their entire life. I'm going to read it again. In a therapy office, a client may expertly deflect, dodge, and obscure the truth in order to prevent the therapist from getting to the painful core that they've been avoiding their entire life. So we're talking about subconscious behavior. Right? We're talking about feeling like the therapist is getting us to a place that's not comfortable. And then the defense mechanisms that we've developed over the years, the stories that we've told ourselves over the years kick in, and then we start deflecting and dodging and obscuring. So that really stood out to me, because you can be in therapy and you can still be deflecting and dodging and not getting the most out of it if you're not willing to lean into the uncomfortable places, because therapy is not typically comfortable. Okay, so the point of this book is to tell yourself a better story. Like, you've got these stories that you tell about yourself, and so the idea is figure out a story that serves you better than the stories that you've been telling about yourself. So I think I'm gonna stick with it. I picked it up for the first time at like 3 o'clock in the morning this morning, and I think I'm gonna stick with it and read some more from it. We'll see. We'll see. So that's today's morning zen. Okay, so moving on to abundance. I'm gonna do the affirmation. Haven't done it in a while, so here's the affirmation. I am so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. Just gonna do it once because now I'm short on time. I swear, every time I'm winging it, I end up talking more, right? So anyway, here's my reminder, my remix of another quote, remix for emphasis. If you only spend, you'll stay poor. If you only save, you'll stay middle class. If you want to get wealthy, you must invest. It's not optional. Reminder for all of us. Okay, so who did the homework? Nobody. I know you didn't do the homework. I know you didn't do the homework. The reason I know you didn't do the homework is because I haven't been given homework since like season 1. So you got used to me not giving homework. So you didn't do it. So yesterday's homework is today's homework. Again, I'm asking you to do the same thing. Create a list of questions that people ask you often. All right? So yesterday was like a warm-up for getting back to homework. So today, let's do the homework. Get a piece of paper, write it out. And again, what we're doing is making a list of the 10 things that people ask us the most. And just to get you kickstarted, I will give you a couple of examples. So most recently, the example that I gave yesterday was someone asked me how to get in the stock market if they're a beginner. And I had that episode transcribed, and now I'm editing that episode into a kind of bullet point list. Right now it's five tips for getting in the stock market as a beginner, right? That's one thing. And then some other things that I've been asked. I was about to say recently, but I'll just go with recently. There's some other things that I've been asked recently. I always get asked about how to test drive cars all the time, constantly. And I've said to myself many times that I need to just write it down so that there's a list so that I can say, oh, you want to know how to test drive cars? Here you go. Just read that list. So that's one. That's a second one for me. And I often, I shouldn't say often, but I recently got asked how I was able to produce a play at Fisk. And I really didn't understand the question. I was like, what do you mean how? Just did it. So this is my point. My point is that you are known for things that you don't even realize you're known for. And to help you get in touch with that, you'll write these questions down, these things that people ask you for or ask you to do. Are they asking you to organize something, or asking you for something that they're pretty sure you've organized, even though you didn't tell them you organized it? Like, it's this exercise is to get you in touch with what you're known for without even realizing that you're known for it. So do the work, do the homework, write out 10 questions, 10 things that people ask you for, people expect of you. Yeah, both. Things that people ask you for or they expect of you. And that'll help you get in touch with what you're already famous for in your circle. And then we'll do some exercises from there. Okay, so I think that might be it. So just a reminder, where we're going with this exercise is we are creating a brochure, a pamphlet. Ooh, even easier. We're creating a pamphlet, right? So a very low bar, just a pamphlet, just something that encapsulates some of the information that we have in our heads, right? Why? Because we're creating a secondary revenue stream. Well, actually, hopefully it's more than a secondary revenue stream. So let's just say an ancillary revenue stream. All of us need to be seeking multiple revenue streams because that's the way it's done. We now know that the average millionaire has 7 different revenue streams, which sounds daunting to me. But when you break it down to small projects like this, doesn't seem as daunting at all. It seems much more manageable. So this pamphlet, once it's created, can be for sale out there in the world, and it's passive income. Like you could promote it or you could not promote it. Like either way, it creates a life of its own. Like you could literally be asleep one night and someone could order your pamphlet on Amazon, and then you just wake up to a couple bucks, passive income. Or this has happened to me. You could wake up to an email from a book club saying, hey, we decided to read your book, and we just ordered, everyone in the book club just ordered a copy. That's happened to me. And it's like, oh, wow. So there's a royalty check coming, and then there's this, I try to create some interaction with the book club and all that. Now admittedly, that's a book, but still the point is that whatever you do, once you put it out there, it will create its own life. You never know what'll happen. You never know. Oh, I got another example. One of my books was quoted in a friend's scholarly report, not dissertation, not report. Something that was written for a journal, for a scholarly journal. She ended up quoting something from one of my books. Again, like I could not have predicted that. Like it's just once you put it out there and it exists out there in the world, any number of things can happen with the project. So the point for you and for me is it gives us another stream of revenue that anything could happen. Oh, one more example. I've used this example before, but Amanda Gorman, the woman who read poetry at the inauguration of the current president, she already had books on Amazon. And once she did the inauguration, those books went through the roof. They sold out like hotcakes, but they already existed. They'd already been there. And so once again, you just never know what can happen once you create the project. And all of us have the ability to create something, at least a pamphlet, at least a brochure, because we have things that we're passionate about. We have things, we have knowledge that we've accumulated over the course of years. So we're creating this pamphlet. I'm giving you all the reasons why you're not backing out. That's what I'm doing. Giving you all the reasons why you're not backing out. Just create an ancillary revenue stream. Make your list of 10 things that people know you for or that people ask you about. All right, so stay tuned for prayer time. Right now on the New Thought Media Network, you got to go, depending upon where you're watching this, you got to go out to the main channel to watch prayer time. And then stay tuned for Sit with Reverend Melissa at 10:30, where I'll be producing. Oh, shoot. And as I close out, I'm going to show you a picture of Pookie. Pookie is my new friend. I'm sure he's responsible for messing with the Wi-Fi. This is Pookie, and then I'm going to close out the show. Where is Pookie? There he is. Pookie just hangs out on the electrical outlets all the time. I'm sure that's why there was no internet this morning. I'm watching you, Pookie. I'm watching you. All right, keep doing. Be a hero. Be your own hero. Remember that now is better than perfect. Later.